man. Not a whole lot of crazy stuff going on in the market. We did have some big announcements today, though, that we'll go over at the beginning of this before we get into the questions. Stellar, they're going to be tokenizing. They've partnered with the DTCC, and they're going to be tokenizing stocks on Stellar's network, which I would assume would leverage, you guessed it, XLM. Saw a little pump on XLM today off of that announcement, about 2 cents on the move. I don't know if that'll be sustained or it'll come back down or what's going to happen with it. Looks like 2027, Q1 2027 is when they're going to be implementing tokenized stocks through the DTCC for XLM and Stellar's network. Very cool. Also got some news about Project Agora today. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but the BIS, they have 40 plus member banks that are going to leverage Project Agora for settlement between the different counterparties and the ability to be interoperable and work with one another. And, you know, they're going to have to leverage a certain network and a certain asset in order to be able to facilitate that at scale. There is nothing out there publicly that states that will be XRP, but they will be using one unified ledger, distributed ledger technology to do that. So you could speculate like me. I think that there's going to be one that kind of the cream will rise to the top, and you know, whatever's going to have the most liquidity and compliance. MasterCard got their BIT license today. Very big news. That allows them to be able to transact at scale and operate within New York. And that's kind of like the highest standard of compliance in the land, a BIT license. If you can meet that criteria, that's it's a high bar to reach. So now that they have that, they should be able to be, you know, compliant across all the U.S. states to be able to facilitate payments with blockchain. There with MasterCard, I'm sure Visa isn't far off the mark, and that they will probably follow quickly behind. As well as Amex and some of the other payment providers that are out there. So, or they will leverage somebody else that they can partner with that has a BIT license to be able to settle into New York, and that may be MasterCard. So, symbolism there, you know, if you want to put your tinfoil hat on, the MasterCard symbol looks like two worlds colliding. I think maybe the digital and the traditional finance world, maybe that's the symbolism there. We'll have to see how that plays out. So between those three things, you know, lots of things, fundamentals in the market are at an all-time high. Sentiment still in the gutter, price still moving down a little bit. I'm sure people are either they're excited to buy more or they're very tired of it at this point. And I understand both of those sentiments. We did see an uptick on Google Analytics, something I watch occasionally, but I saw some people post about it today, where how to buy crypto started to see an uptick. So hopefully that breathes some life back into digital asset space. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb and say this space is institutionally driven. At this point, you know, retail does not drive the price action. It is going to be institutions and the utilization of these networks moving forward that is going to move the price one direction or the other. And really that's been the case since the Bitcoin ETFs were launched. We've seen that through Bitcoin dominance. We haven't seen the rotation that we've seen in previous bull runs. It's only been assets that also have ETFs. Now we have seen a few alts pop, you know, 60 to 90% here in the recent market. That speaks to, you know, some rumblings that tend to happen early on in a bull market is there will be some tokens, some altcoins that jump in value in a very short period of time. And that tends to be kind of the start of when Bitcoin starts to see its run. So I'm hopeful, just like everybody else, that through the rest of the year, the market will turn around. We're going to see institutional adoption. I still think that we're going to see a significant consolidation with the reverse carry trade and all of that playing out. Also very interesting to see the interview with Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, today.